All right, I'm going to share with you today one of my favorite tools. This is a tool I use, if not daily, every second day of my life to help me with significant challenges when it comes to anxiety. Because here's the reality, even though I've worked with my body and I've worked with my mind enough through my rewire process, there are still moments that come up where that volume, you can still feel like that anxiety is just there just a little bit. But I'll tell you what, when you look at where you are in life and you see how far you've come, you realize that anxiety once was turned right up. That dial was right up. That volume is blaring and the alarm, think of it like a smoke alarm, is just going off. And that can be really unsettling. I remember those days. So I want to teach you a tool, okay, that can really help you. And I still, like I said, I use it to this day because I don't think there's anyone in this world that is exempt from anxiety. We all feel it. It's just we all feel it at different levels on that scale, on that spectrum, right? So what are we using today? What is the tool? Well, this is what we're about to dive into. So if you're ready, let's go. All right, everyone, welcome to Anxiety Rewired, the podcast, the place to be if you want to learn how to work with your anxiety. And I say work with because the reality is everyone experiences anxiety, right? And we are living in a time right now in the world where, so many people are so fearful of anxiety. They're so worried about what the world is going to think of them when it comes to anxiety. I certainly know that was me, because when you're going through it, it is so hard that sometimes you can't explain some of the symptoms that you feel, some of the physical symptoms that lead to some of the thinking, that leads to the constant thought loops and everything that goes through your mind. Some of us spend our whole lives trying to avoid those feelings. Some of us spend our entire lives like trying to steer clear of the thoughts or trying to quieten down the mind. And we're trying to push back on anxiety to say, no, get out of my space. I don't want you here. Because the harsh reality is it feels yuck, it feels yuck. But the thing with anxiety, I don't want you to see it as a mess, my friends. I want you to see it as a message. Our body is sending us messages all the time. And a lot of my work that I do, they've really helped me turn the dial down on my anxiety. And I mean right down, was that I began to focus on where anxiety lives. And it's not in the mind. We cannot live an unanxious life using the mind only, because the body holds the wisdom and it never forgets. Every experience you have been through can leave somatic imprints, somatic memories in the body where they're stored. So your incredible body is unbelievable. It goes to work to help protect you against real threats, and in particular with anxiety, perceived threats. Okay, so with anxiety, before I teach you this amazing technique, anxiety has this incredible ability to be able to magnify an experience or something coming up that basically blows up, makes it really big, a perceived threat in your life, and it also underestimates your capacity to handle it. Okay. And that's really important to understand, because everyone experiences anxiety, sometimes in similar ways, but sometimes we experience it very differently. And what I'm here to tell you is there is a way that you can help yourself in the moment to turn down the dial on the threat detector that lives in your body, to begin to show it and update it so that when it detects smoke, so the perceived threats that could be in your active experience or coming up, those things that you're worried about or afraid of, the health anxiety, that talk with the boss on Monday, that bill payment due next month, all the things, the social anxiety, the anxiety that you can't speak or talk to people, you're shy, you're worried, all these kinds of things, these normal responses to perceived threats. We can turn that volume down. We can work directly with that alarm system and let it know that when it detects smoke, it doesn't need to trigger the alarm. We update it and let it know that right here, right now, in this moment of time, we're actually safe. So, my friends, the tool I want to introduce you to today is EFT tapping. This tool I use every second day of my life. It is a beautiful, powerful, incredibly powerful tool. I learned about it 12 years ago, and I wish back then I persisted with it, because when you're consistent with this tool, the shifts and changes that you can feel are beyond incredible. So I want to share that with you today in this quick round of EFT. Also on that note, I'm going to post a link below. If you loved this EFT session and you want to dive in and learn the recipe, learn how to apply it, learn how to use it, learn how to make it specific for your anxiety, so we can begin to get out of the leaves and dive deeper into the soil of where your anxiety really lives and tap on the root issues of your anxiety, so you can begin to notice relief and then eventually release, which is where we need to get to, okay? Because we can relieve anxiety over and over and over again, but if we don't learn how to release, all right, release anxiety and build a different relationship to it, how we relate to our anxiety, we're going to continue to get stuck in the loop. So today is about helping you to exit the loop of anxiety, okay? And there's a way to do that. And if you haven't watched my last podcast, go back and watch that, because I'm going to show you the loop, how we get stuck in anxiety over and over and over again, and where the exit point is. I explain that as well. There's an exit point with anxiety. Today we're tapping to take a step towards stepping out of the loop, okay? And this is going to be a beautiful technique to do that. So if you haven't done EFT tapping before, it's totally okay. There's just a couple of things. Please make sure you don't do this while you're driving, operating heavy machinery, or you're in water. You need to be in a safe place, okay? Right now, I'm here in my little studio here, which is great. I'm nice and safe. Everything is good. There's no distractions around me. I'm in a good place. So assuming that you take 100% responsibility for your own health and well-being, I want you to just follow me along, okay? So we're going to begin tapping on various endpoints called meridian points around our body in certain places, and we're going to begin to tap. And all I want you to do is, throughout this entire podcast with me, all I want you to do is I want you to just keep tapping with me, okay? Don't overthink this, all right? For all my anxious friends out there, all my anxious, overwhelmed friends out there that are like, where's the perfect point? Close enough is going to do the job, all right? So we're focused on the process, not perfection. So we're going to start right here, okay, on this nice, soft, spongy, fleshy point. You can use 2 fingers, you can use 3 fingers, and we're going to begin tapping right in here, okay? And I just want you to follow the flow with me today, all right? As we begin to tap here, follow the flow, and I want you to just start to begin to feel into your anxiety. What is it that you're most anxious about right now? What's been keeping you up late at night? What have you been really struggling with? What does this anxiety cost you in your life? What are you avoiding right now that you know you need to turn towards? What is that? What is that feeling? Just see if you can tune into that now and just notice. And notice if there's any thoughts coming up for you. Notice if there's any bodily sensations. Some of us might be feeling like we're working ourselves up into a bit of a panic attack. And I want to let you know that right here, right now, you can just tap right here and just lean into those sensations. Let's not push it away. Let's tap. And as we do this, we're sending signals back up to a very important part of our brain, right up in the watchtower that's keeping an eye on you 24/7, interpreting any signs of threat. By tapping on our body, we're sending signals of safety from our body through the vagus nerve, through these meridians, all the way back up into our brainstem, up into the amygdala, to let it know all is well down here. So we're sending that communication back. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to repeat some words. I want you to tune in and give your anxiety, your level of anxiety, that felt sense in your mind and body, a scale. We're going to go on a scale of 0 to 10. Okay? Rate your level of anxiety right now on a scale of 0 to 10. And what I want you to do is I want you to really think about that. Think it. Tune into the anxiety. 10 is unbelievably unbearable at the moment, like panic attack. 0 is none at all. And I want you to give yourself a number between 0 and 10 and just note that number in your mind. And then I want you to start repeating after me, feeling into the anxiety. Okay. So say these words out loud with me, even though I'm feeling all this anxiety. And I can feel it in my mind. And I can feel it in my body. I'm choosing to love and accept myself anyway. And if that's a little hard for you to say, I want you to say I'm learning how to love and accept myself anyway. And even though this anxiety has been around for so long, and I just have no idea, how do I get rid of it? I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't understand why it's still around. And it feels really yucky sometimes. I'm choosing to learn to love and accept myself anyway. And even though I feel anxious, and I don't like people knowing really, I don't want them to see this part of me. And maybe I feel a little ashamed about that. I'm choosing to deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. And then we're going to move to the eyebrow point here and just follow me along. Remember, process, not perfection. Eyebrow point, right at the end of the eyebrow. Just keep tapping there. All this anxiety. Okay, side of the eye, all this anxiety. Under the eye, I have lived with this anxiety for so long. Under the nose, this anxiety has been hanging around for so long. Under the lip, all this anxiety. Okay, collarbone point, just underneath the collarbone, just tapping there. All these anxious feelings in my body. Under the armpit, so about 2 to 3 finger spaces down, you can just tap in that general area just underneath the armpit, just repeating after me, all of these anxious feelings. Okay, we'll go to the wrist, all of these anxious feelings. Top of the head, just like this, all over the place at the back, the crown. I feel so anxious. Okay, eyebrow point, and I just don't know what to do. Side of the eye, that tight chest. The butterflies in my stomach. All the things I've been avoiding because of anxiety. And I'm learning to let it go. Collarbone point, I'm trying to let it go. Under the arm, but it's so hard. Top of the head, we're going to skip this point for now, my friends. Okay, we're going top of the head. I actually really struggle to talk about it. Because what would people think of me? I like to hide my symptoms of anxiety. Because they help me feel safe. Sometimes hiding is better than being seen. And that's probably why I've been avoiding certain situations in my life. because I feel like anxiety has a hold on me. Take a big deep breath here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Under the arm, and choosing to let this go. Top of the head. Anxiety has cost me so many opportunities in my life. Okay, and just taking a big deep breath in here, we're going to take 2 or 3 of them. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Really let it go and extend the exhale longer than the inhale. So in. One more. Very good. And just for a minute, check back in with your anxiety. On a scale of 0 to 10, if you remember what your first number is, brilliant. How are you doing now? How are you feeling in your mind and body about your anxiety? Just tune in. Now, if it's the same, that's okay. If it's gone up, that's okay as well. If it's come down, fantastic. Just notice that number and let's do a few more rounds together, okay? So coming back here, even though I'm still feeling anxious, I want you to bring the volume of your voice up a little bit now, even though I'm feeling a little bit anxious. And there's still anxiety hanging on in there. I'm learning to love and accept myself with my anxiety. Yeah, that feels good. And even though this anxiety, continues to show up like one of those annoying friends, I'm choosing and I'm learning how to love and accept myself anyway. And even though anxiety can be a real pain, and sometimes it can feel really bad, I wonder if it's showing me deeply that I care about something. And I'm learning to be more open to the message that anxiety has for me. Let's go to the top of the head. I'm open to hearing the message. Eyebrow point. I wonder what the message is from anxiety. If anxiety showed up on my front door, like it always does, banging on my front door, what would happen if instead of slamming the door on my anxiety, what would happen if I welcomed it in? And listened to the message it had for me. I'm open to being curious about my anxiety. Millions and millions of people are struggling with it every day. And we're not all talking about it together. I'm struggling. And so is the world. And I'm open to the message of my anxiety today. I can learn to let go of my self-judgment. I do not have to be perfect. Even though showing up that way has helped me, I can learn to just relax a little bit more with my anxiety. Take a big deep breath on that. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I'm allowing my body to relax just a little bit more. Top of the head. Feeling a little more relaxed now in my body. Eyebrow point. Sending those signals of safety that all is well. Side of the eye. It's okay to have anxiety. It's a big one for a lot of people. A lot of people don't believe that. It's okay to have anxiety. It's normal to worry. And I'm learning that when I worry, all it is my anxiety telling me there's something I need to notice. And what I need to notice is that I am safe. Under the arm, that I can handle it. I've handled everything up until this point. So if anxiety is coming on this journey with me, it's going to be a friend. Because good friends work together. Take a breath on that. And I'm open to having more good friends in my life. Thank you, anxiety, for helping me pay attention. I'm listening. I hear you. I see you. I'm listening to myself. I hear myself. I see myself. And it's okay. It's okay to be me. And my friends, just tapping on the collarbone point like this, left, right, left, right, left, right. Take a few deep breaths here. So I'm breathing in. Hold for a second. Let it go. Tapping the collarbones. A little bit harder if you can. Not too hard where you hurt yourself, but just tap, 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 tap. Hold it. Let it go. One more breath. Breathe all the way in. Hold it. Let it go. And just coming to a pause. And just checking back in on that anxiety scale. And just notice what there is to notice in your mind and body now. How are you feeling? In fact, I want you to pause this podcast right now. Yep, I know. But I want you to pause this and I want you to go down to the comments. If you tried this and you feel shifts and changes in your mind and body, I want to remind you, this is the agency you have. So if you noticed a shift in the scale and maybe you started on the higher end and now you're feeling like, man, I was an 8. My anxiety was an 8. And after doing this practice, I feel like a 5 or a 6 and it's come down a bit. That's wonderful. Okay, and we can continue to work on that to get it down to a 1 or a 0 for some people, which is fascinating. If your anxieties come up, there's still some more specific work we need to do around the wording, okay, and getting it right. It might be shame that we're feeling, it might be betrayal or guilt, or feeling rejected. There'll be specific things around your anxiety that your anxiety is really worried about. It's worried about you. Okay. And this is why it sends us the signals that it sends. All right. And our job is to learn how to lean into those feelings. We don't have a thinking problem when it comes to anxiety. We have a feeling problem. And so much of us push these feelings away. So I want you to notice where you are on the scale now in your mind and body. And I want you to stop and go down in the comments and let me know how you feel. And the second thing is, if you are worried and you're struggling with your anxiety and you are fascinated by this practice today, I want you to look at the link in the description below. I want you to look at the calendar that I have posted in there, and I want you to book in a session with me so we can talk about your anxiety, okay, where you're struggling, and how we can begin to use EFT very specifically for you, for your situation, so that we can actually work on regulating your nervous system. That's where anxiety lives. It's within us. It's within us. And as we begin to learn to regulate our nervous system, we can begin to feel over time that we're feeling like the volume is turned down. This is my experience. All of a sudden, I'm heading into situations that would normally create anxiety within me. And I'm noticing that I am going in, still feeling anxiety is there, but the volume is down. And it felt amazing having that level of agency, feeling like I can handle this. And as you begin to regulate your nervous system becomes more flexible, okay? Because right now at the moment with anxiety, our nervous system is very rigid. It looks at potential threats and things that we're worried about that we don't think we can handle. And what it does is it superimposes the past on where we haven't been able to handle things into the present moment, which then becomes a projection from the present to the future, saying that thing, this thing that's triggered me, this thing that's potentially coming up, I can't handle that. We're not the type of person that can handle that. What I'm here to tell you is when you do the training, just like when you're in a gym, right? You get what? Stronger with the right plan, okay? With resistance training, with lifting a little heavier. Every now and then we progressively increase our capacity to lift more, increase the density of our muscles. They get stronger, okay? But the muscle doesn't get stronger, right, by just going in and lifting up something really light all the time. The muscle breaks down and then it repairs. And my friend, anxiety sometimes can cause us to feel like all we do is break down and we never repair. And this is why these techniques begin to help us recover and repair, okay? So we can grow back stronger as we lean into coming out of avoidance with our anxiety. We lean into actually moving forward into our life, taking the risks when we're ready, when we're feeling regulated, and you're like, I actually feel like I can do that. I can put my hand up in those team meetings. I feel like I can have that conversation now with that person, or I feel like I have enough agency and I feel like I have enough self-respect now because I feel regulated. I can actually set healthy boundaries now with myself and with those in my life. I can begin to say no. I can go out socially without feeling like my heart rate's out of control. All of these things that anxiety, creates within us, we can work through those. So I just want to say, congratulations. If you stuck all the way through and you did this, I truly hope you enjoyed the practice. This is just the beginning. This is just the start for you. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. In the description, I will put a link in there, linking you to my calendar. And I truly hope that I can work with you, support you, serve you in ways that enable you to live your most expanded life with anxiety. So let's go. Thank you for watching the pod, and we'll see you on the next episode.